We now go from agency bookings and travel management to the world of airports. In our next session, Rahil Hameed from our Airport IT team focuses on how we're enabling a touchless journey for travelers when at the airport.
Thank you for the introduction. Now, I'll be taking you through the current airport situation and the need for digital solutions in an airport environment. Airports, as we all know, play a crucial role in the context of safe travel. In an airport, we have passengers who are arriving, departing, or transiting through an airport. And we also have hundreds of staff who are working in an airport environment. So from an airport perspective, it's essential that they focus on the safety and well-being of the passengers as well as the staff as we work towards the gradual increase in flight operations. The focus needs to be on the perceived safety so that passengers feel safe and we can help instill confidence in these passengers. As per the recent IATA estimates, passengers pre-COVID spent on average of 1.5 hours in travel processes as part of their journey. This is starting from check-in all the way to baggage reclaim. In the present day, there's been deviations or variations from the pre-existing processes, and also additional steps have been added where there's a need for agents to manually validate passenger health credentials and vaccine certificates. Now, this has resulted in a drastic increase in processing times and has had an effect on the overall passenger journey. As per the recent estimates, the average airport processing times has increased to up to 3 hours, with traffic volumes being at 30% of pre-COVID volumes. Now, IATA estimates that without further improvements in these processes, the average processing time for airport processes could increase up to 5.5 hours, with traffic volumes returning to 75% of pre-COVID volumes. This, in addition, could increase up to 8 hours when traffic volumes return to 100% of pre-COVID levels. Now, let's take a step deeper and look into the overall passenger flows, how it has impacted and how it's varied now in the present day. Pre-COVID, the passenger flow was evenly distributed, where passengers would do different channels, be it online or web check-in, where we had 49% of passengers using these channels. Then you had around 18% of passengers using self-service channels, be it kiosk or Bagdrop, and only around 35% of these passengers had a need to be processed manually by an agent at a check-in counter. In the present day, the automated processes in an airport are broken. Lots of airports and airlines have had to put their self-service equipments out of operation. What this resulted in is increased processing times at check-in and at border control. One of the estimates suggests that around 90% of airport staff are required to process 30% of these passengers. We also see there's a specific need to perform additional health checks on arrivals. So this will further impact the processing time for passengers, leading to longer queues in the immigration halls. To conclude, what we see is a need for a fully automated and integrated solution where passenger health credentials can be validated against the different health providers. This will be necessary so that we can eliminate human-to-human contact. There's no manual agent intervention needed to validate these credentials. It will also help us to re-enable the automatic passenger processing in an airport environment. What we further see is there are other perceived benefits when it comes to these digital certificates. This includes eliminating any fraudulent documentation. It also gives visibility to the different agencies on the passengers' eligibility to fly, even before these passengers arrive at an airport. To conclude, adoption of digital processes will be key as we work towards restarting travel. In the context of safe travel, self-service can be a key enabler as it helps to reduce processing times at the airport, reduce queuing, and also eliminates any human-to-human contact. We in Amadeus manufacture and offer our own self-service solutions. In 2019, Amadeus acquired ICM, a global leader in self-service solutions. With ICM, we offer different self-service solutions. This includes 3 different variants of the self-service kiosks. We also offer replacement and retrofit type auto bag drop solutions, in addition to the biometric hardware. Biometric hardware includes the biometric camera modules, which can be integrated into the kiosks and the backdrops. And we also offer biopods, which can be used for biometric processing at other touch points such as security, launch, and boarding. So far, we've processed over 100 million bags across 1,200 backdrop units that are deployed. So these backdrop units have been deployed across 26 airports, including some tier 1 airports such as Changi Singapore Airport, London Heathrow Airport, Paris airports, Dubai airports, and Narita Airport. Nonetheless, we see there are passenger concerns and hesitations when it comes to using self-service hardware. So there's a need for us to eliminate the need for passengers to touch self-service kiosks and backdrops. So we've developed a set of touchless solutions in order to address these needs. The passengers do not have to touch the self-service kiosks or backdrops. The first solution that I want to talk about is the Amadeus mobile trackpad, where a QR code is displayed to the passenger on the screen. Passengers can scan this QR code on their mobile phone, and there'll be a large cursor which is displayed to the passengers, as you can see in the first image. And passengers can then continue with their self-service kiosk or their backdrop flow using their mobile phones without having to touch the kiosk or the backdrop screens. The second solution that we have is the mobile remote control. This remote control solution is an extension of the trackpad, where the entire kiosk or the backdrop screen is mirrored into the passenger's phone. The passengers can then continue with their check-in or their backdrop flow on their phone without having to touch the kiosk or the backdrops. The third solution, again, is related to touchless, where we offer a proximity sensor. That is, passengers do not have to physically touch the kiosk or the backdrop screens. Any passenger finger movements are captured by the infrared sensor, and this is then converted into user inputs. The final solution that I have here is the auto bag tag printing solution. These auto bag tag printing solution will be useful for passengers who check in online. So passengers who check in online or over the web, when they reach the airport, and if they need to print their bag tags, all they have to do is to scan their mobile boarding passes on these kiosks, and their bag tags will be printed after that. So there's no additional steps or checks that needs to be performed by the passengers. And behind the scenes, what we do is we have all the necessary DCS integrations, and we do all the necessary eligibility checks before we print these bag tags. So once these bag tags are printed, passengers can then collect these bag tags, attach it to their bags, and continue with their backdrop process. So this eliminates the passengers. Passengers do not have to touch the screens. Passengers do not have to have a manual agent intervention as they continue with their backdrop flows. Now, in addition to that, we've also worked on several other initiatives, how we can be as part of the safe travel ecosystem. So we've integrated DocOK checks against the airline DCS as part of the backdrop processes. So these DocOK checks are set to indicate or check the eligibility of a passengers, whether they meet the specific health requirements. DocOK check is set as a specific SSR code as part of the passenger booking. So only passengers who have DocOK check as part of their passenger booking in the DCS will be allowed to continue in the backdrop flow. So this can be of advantage to airports as well as for airlines, where it will help them to eliminate situations where you need to offload a specific passenger's bag from a baggage handling system or from an aircraft if it's identified at a later stage that they were not eligible to fly. We have similarly integrated these DocOK checks against the DCS as part of the passenger verification systems as well. So as part of this, passengers who are not eligible to fly, that is, they don't have the DocOK check set in their booking in DCS, will be restricted access to certain airport touchpoints. So as part of passenger verification, we perform checks against the airline DCS, and we can restrict access to certain areas of the airport. So with this, what we could do is we could restrict access to airside, we could restrict access to passengers to enter the terminal, so that this way we can help to increase passenger confidence in the overall airport process. Amadeus also offers an end-to-end biometric solution. These biometric solutions are integrated into the passenger journey. So these biometric solutions includes biometric hardware, such as the biometric camera module, which is integrated in our kiosks and our backdrop units. and also biopods, which can be used for processing at other touch points, starting from security all the way towards boarding. Biometric software includes biometric enrollment, one-to-one and one-to-N matching algorithms, as well as our identity management platforms. With the biometric solutions, once a passenger is enrolled across any of the touch points, be it off-airport mobile enrollment or on airport at self-service kiosks or on Bagdrops, they can then be biometrically matched across all the other touch points, starting from check-in all the way to boarding. With this, it offers an end-to-end seamless passenger flow and helps us to eliminate any manual agent interventions. And also passengers do not have to have manual redundant document checks that needs to be performed. In the context of safe travel, we also feel that there's potential additional use cases where these biometric solutions can be expanded to. It could be for hotels, for cruises, for also staff access in the future.